Welcome to Lost Without Japan, a travel podcast about the life-changing experiences of exploring Japan and those moments we would be lost without. For your listening pleasure, allow me to introduce your very own Kanko Guido, Michael.
Welcome to this week's episode of the award-winning podcast Lost Without Japan, a podcast that's been running bi-weekly now for more than 5 years and is based on Japan and your Lost Without moments. This is your director of travel for TKIC Studio Productions, bringing you positive thoughts and excitement for your upcoming journey to Japan, as well as his own return in 2 summers. We'd like to thank you for giving us a bit of your time today and truly hope this podcast finds you in a good place or on the path to a better one, no matter how it may seem at this moment. If you're new to the podcast and joining us from the Podranker article listing this show as one of the best of Japan travel podcasts for 2026, welcome. If you're a returning Lost Without listener, Scone Club member, today's day trip episode takes us to Chiba, bringing the show back to its off the beaten path day trip locations you've grown to enjoy. This series was inspired by our recent day trip episode for Tokyo and by, baseball stadiums that I have yet to visit, such as Zozo Marine Stadium. For those of you who have shorter visits planned due to travel restrictions and find yourself only being able to visit Tokyo and the area surrounding the city, but you still want, to get outside what is normally a part of that golden route of travel for Japan, or maybe you're just like me sometimes and want a quick escape from the tourist areas of Tokyo. Maybe you want to see the longest suspended monorail in the world, or you're trying to make it to every baseball stadium in Japan. Maybe with all of the World Cup action going on, you've been swept up by that as well, and you want to catch some J1 soccer in Japan. Well, you're in luck. This episode is for you. Let's start with some positive mental imagery and imagine we're all together exiting from like the airport and have hopped aboard our trains via Tokyo Station or driven our rental cars and have arrived in Chiba to explore a city that offers way more than just baseball and wonderful views to get you in a wonderful and very enjoyable day trip or days trip journey inside Japan. Chiba City is the capital of Chiba Prefecture and hosts a population of almost 1 million people as of March 2025. At around a 37-minute drive from Tokyo Station, or currently a $6 38-minute ride aboard the JR East Line to Chiba, it makes for an amazing add-on to your day trip from Tokyo. Remember, you can always reach out to the show at Lost Without Japan and Lost Without Japan via Instagram or lostwithoutjapan@gmail.com. As always, today's show notes includes a timestamp for when we begin our discussion of Chiba. So any of you coming along that know this can check it in advance for these day trip episodes and skip this intro part. But this is also where you're going to find the Google Map locations for everything that I talk about today. Feel free to click on those and follow along. We're going to start our adventure today by discussing some lodging options for those of you deciding to spend more than just a day in the city and are looking to catch maybe an outdoor concert, soccer match, or like I said, those baseball games. But we're going to be focusing for those of you World Cup fans on our soccer match first. For those of you looking to get off your train and already be close to your lodging, then I'm going to have us call our lodging the Vessel Inn Chiba Ekime. Would be the best choice for you, in my opinion. Heading toward the east exit of Chiba Station, which will take you toward Chiba Station Odori Avenue. After exiting, it's around a 5-minute walk to arrive, giving you your first view of the monorail trains in action. Your choice for a hotel with an onsen are limited in the area, but fortunately this is one of them, and one of the better choices you can make, I think, for the area as well. Although it's part of a chain, this particular location seems to be a shining star among them with great customer service and with a few of the staff even having been mentioned as having some English ability as well. More important, though, are tidy rooms with an outside view that is quite trendy and unique and would definitely add to your trip's overall aesthetic. The sauna and public bath onsen on the third level can truly end up being a great way to end any busy night that you have for your day trip. And like I said, it's if you're going to be looking to stay here, some people might want to just stay there and to avoid some of the expense of being in Tokyo. And it would be a 2 hour trip to Haneda Airport from this location if you choose to take a combination of either buses or trains to do so. For the onsen, make sure you have your own toiletries if you're particular about your soaps and shampoos. And as always, show recommendation, which I'm going to say probably a few times today, a larger washcloth if you're sensitive about bathing with others. And to mention that as well, just an extra towel. You can never have too many. With everyone enjoying all the fun from World Cup, I bet there are some of you that would visit Chiba just to catch a J1 match for the JEF United, whose seasons run from February to June and past that as well, and allow for those of you, depending on how well they do in playoffs and things like that, to be you could choose to be closer to the arena. In order to do that, you're going to want to choose to exit from Soga Station. But that being said, really renting a car would be my recommendation for this area in general, as the station itself is missing some creature comforts you might expect to see or would have seen if you'd gotten off at Chiba Station as well. Some of the things that this station, Soga Station, is missing is number one, too much space on those platforms. And number two, signs kind of giving you a heads up of when trains are coming, kind of forcing you to rely upon Google Maps and by looking at the trains as they arrive to know, like, is this the one I'm getting on or not? The area is also part of a larger area known as Soga Sports Park and could almost be a vacation on its own. Besides the Fukuda Denshi board area, where you can enjoy some space to skateboard between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m., with a fee of 400 yen for adults and 200 yen for children for an entire day. For those looking to visit, is that you should look to avoid windy days, as you are on Tokyo's, the Bay. And not only that, but it can, as a result, be uncomfortably windy. And if that wind is coming from the northwest and is strong, it can also bring some smoke and smells that can be a bit overwhelming from factories and things like that. I would not go only to experience the skate park, and not just because, and I would not just avoid it because of the potential smells, but mainly I just wanted to give you a heads up so that you know. Also, just one word to the wise: the hours listed on the website are not always accurate. But you really can't beat the price. And this could be a nice escape for those of you that, skate or who have kids who need a break from the vacation grind. For those of you visiting Japan to enjoy some golf and have friends in the area who can lend you clubs or bring your own or rent them from the golf resort Soga, you're going to find a reasonably priced small driving range to enjoy, which is around a 10-minute walk from Shoga Station, being that it is a driving range. So you do get the advantage of heating and AC depending on the time of year that you visit. They do offer rental clubs at a rental club for 330 yen each, but depending on your height, may or may not be much of an option for you, as it is also subject to availability. There's a variety of plans available from unlimited balls or setting, time to kind of pay per ball. The pricing for that and fees are on their website, and it can also increase depending on what floor that you're going to be hitting from, with the third floor being the most expensive. If you'll be in the area for a while or plan on returning within a year, they also offer a QR card where you can add money to earn points to make paying a little easier. That being said, I'd only add a little bit more than you think you would use, as there are no refunds. And from what I've seen in reviews, they don't save your balance. So, after an extended period of time, like let's say around 2 years, potentially less than that, your balance will be returned to zero despite you going or not going. So, if you do have a balance left on when you leave for your trip and aren't able to make it back in time, consider that card part of just a souvenir that you purchased for that time. But something to be aware of. All of the pricing and discounts available for students are available through their website and on that Google Map link I provided for today's show notes. And one thing I would say as well with kind of just golfing and things for that area is just, like I said, give yourself some time, look to avoid the busiest times, just enjoy yourself. You're on vacation. Fortunately, there are a few choices of lodging around Soga Station, even if you don't take the train to get there. We'll be getting into discussing one of these after we talk about the Fukuda Denshi Arena. For those attending any sporting event in Japan, I'd recommend that you take a picture of your ticket ahead of time and make sure it's translated so that you know where you're sitting and what gate you should enter at. I'd also say that for concerts as well. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that you will most likely need to look into services to purchase tickets for these events, and I would look to do so when they go on sale as far out as possible, as many events like this end up suffering from bots and limited number of tickets available to begin with. So, like I said, don't wait. Like if I was going on vacation here in September. Probably already too late to purchase tickets for a baseball game, although you can look to see when you're there about getting them. We'll talk about that later. But you really do want to do just a little bit of research and see when these tickets go on sale. Again, I'm happy to help with that. Feel free to reach out. And we've also had multiple episodes on this and things that are available for you as well that you can look back for our catalog. For those of you, into kind of a yay sports level of enjoyment when it comes to viewing any sporting event, who would choose to do almost anything else instead, don't worry. There are parks and shopping nearby, as well as a variety of choices of places to eat at. For nearby shopping, one option is the Arios Soga Shopping Mall, which is around a 15-minute walk or 5-minute drive from the arena, or a 20 to 35-minute bus and walking venture from our lodging, or around a 44-minute walk by itself. I would very much recommend setting up a taxi through your lodging if you do not drive, and take their number with you if you're unable to use the TaxiGo app. If they have business cards, take those with you as well, as in a pinch, you have a phone that dies or something else, you can go to a taxi, hand them that business card, and they'll get you back, regardless of your Japanese level. Those who are listened to the show before know that I absolutely love visiting shopping centers like this when I'm adventuring in Japan, as you get to see a bit of everyday life and usually avoid other tourists as well. For those who brave Soga Station, there is a free shuttle that runs to and from its location called Harbor City Soga's free shuttle service. One word to the wise, though, is that there are 4 elevators at this location, and if more space sounds good to you, aim for using the pink elevators. As with other spots, avoiding it on weekends can be a good call, or on holidays as well, as many of these places like this are extremely busy. If it's the only time you can go, though, and you don't mind crowds, you can hang out with me as we wait for parking in hopes of finding CDs or physical media that are on sale. And, something we look to enjoy once we return back home and are kind of suffering through our post vacation blues. The food court has a wide variety of choices, and there will be a number of stores you can explore. In this area, cell phone reception is not the best. And this has been mentioned for those visiting the soccer arena, other malls, just this area in general does not seem to have the best. So, perhaps screenshot walking distant, your maps or other things that you have on your phone just to have it just in case. And again, taxi go, my friends. One thing I'd also say for you is that this is an older mall and there can be issues leaving if you park on the top level of the parking garage, as it seems to have just a small exit, which the other levels of that parking garage are not hit as hard with. So, something to be aware of. Also, for those of you looking to find gifts for families and friends to give out upon your return, really don't wait for the airport or kind of your last couple days to do something. You truly cannot go wrong with shopping at malls. And you can find not only some amazing things for yourself, but for others as well. And it really comes off as like, hey, they spent a lot of time searching for something for me because it will end up most likely being something that is unique. They don't need to know you were just walking around a mall and found something cool. I won't tell. Also, so if you're going to these malls, one thing I would say is bring a day bag, your backpack that you have, wear comfortable shoes, bring a cell phone battery charger, and enjoy your time at Ario Soga. With all of that, the traffic around the area and other shopping nearby, I'd make sure to use buses or my own rental car or a taxi to get around, as traffic can be quite a lot at times, and I don't want for it to be unsafe for you to walk around the area. If your lodging does not have a public bath, have no fear, as Unot Sato Honoko is here to save the day with its super public bath. They accept cash, they accept credit cards, and offer free parking. In addition to this, there's a dry sauna, a hot sauna, an open air bath that has a view of the water as well. As the standard bath, the main bath is open from 10 a.m. to 8 a.m., with the open air bath being in the dry and hot stones sauna closing at 2 a.m. Adults are all around 1,800 yen per person, with a bathing robe and towel included. That being said, I always recommend bringing my own towel and washcloth and travel soaps just in case. Children, elementary and younger, are around 700 yen per child. They also have private room bathing for up to two people for between 3,200 and 4,800 yen. If you end up leaving the baths after 2 a.m., realize you will be charged an additional fee when you leave. Next up, we finally discussed the Fukuda Denshi Arena, home of JEF United, who recently returned to J1 ranking from J2 this year. And that's, you know, exciting to hear because just like 6 or 7 years ago, they were close to getting relegated to J3. So it's good to see them back where they belong, as they are one of the original 10 teams for the league. And this home has some great views to watch soccer from. The stadium, though, does have a few potential drawbacks. Although for some of you, the closeness of the pitch will make up for all of that. One thing is that for a stadium as a whole, there are not many toilets. And this is even more so, or less so, I guess you could say, for the visitor side. There are also not a lot of vending machines. When the arena is filled, the expectation of it taking a while to exit the stadium to leave, if you're there for a concert or for a soccer match, getting out of the parking lot, getting out of the stadiums is going to take a while. One thing that kind of is different, yeah, I guess you could say, is that they actually collect money from people who parked at the end. So when you're leaving, that's when they collect it. So imagine them collecting it from thousands of people. And this is why it's going to take some time for you. So, that's going to have a backup. So maybe hit that restroom before you go. I'd really recommend for any sporting event or concert you go to in Japan, bring a lanyard that has a clear pouch that you can seal and put around your neck so that you can show your ticket. As you'll be asked to show your tickets as you enter different areas, especially for this venue itself, and so you don't lose it. There are limited stadium food options, but more than a few people mention that you can bring your own container of food in with you, or some others actually bring kind of like some Tupperware if they order kisaku from the different areas that are there, as the portions are rather large. And, you don't want to throw it away because a lot of people mention that they wait an hour in line to get these team themed meals. And if you've been to baseball games in Japan, you'll seen it too, where they'll have this like player and this is the meal that they've picked. So, a lot of draw for people to support their player, to show that most, meals are sold for their favorite person. But really, what I'd recommend for all of these sporting events is If you are not overly invested in the game and the outcome of it, leave early and get out before the traffic and congestion, all those things become an issue. Avoid fighting with the crowd, you know? It's like if you have a car, have a cooler, have some drinks in it, and I'd also say grab a bento box and bring it in with you. Grab beverages, bring them in with you. Have them in your backpack, have them in a bag, have some, small ice packs or things with you. And that's one of the wonderful things about going to these events in Japan. Not all, but quite a few. So you can bring some things from the outside in, as you don't have to be reliant upon the fact that what they have available is limited and it's first come, first serve. And when it's gone, it is gone. If you do choose to stay for the whole match, just go with the flow. Again, you're on vacation. For me, I like to try to stay at my seat until I get booted and just let everyone else kind of fight their way out ahead of time. And if I'm one of the last out, it's not a big deal. There's less people fighting with me when you go that route. Before we move on to discuss some lodging for a baseball game, we're going to talk about one dining option available to you where you'd have some yakiniku at Yakiniku Kyoton. Open for lunch around 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and again for dinner at 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekends. This could be something great to do before a game or as a snack after, as this experience could be either as inexpensive or expensive as you want it to be. If you live in Japan, you can make reservations through a variety of sites, and if you don't, you can try to stop by to see if they have available seating or look to set something up ahead of time. If your Japanese level is high enough, you can call 050-5489-5646 and talk to them directly. This is through their website and my notes that I have as well for Google Maps, and do that reservation that way. They offer all you can eat sets, a variety of just courses that aren't all you can eat, lunch options, which are going to be less expensive, as well as alcohol and premium options with like your wagyu and things as well. Anything you want, you can find, and I would really expect to spend anywhere from 4,000 to 9,000 yen per person easily. With if you're going to be enjoying alcohol, definitely expecting for it to be on the more expensive end. For me, though, this would be money well spent and an experience I would be thinking about for some time after. Next up, we're heading back to Zozo Marine Stadium, and we'll start off by talking about one possible lodging option for your visit, and that is the APA or APA Hotel and Resort Tokyo Bay Makuhara is, and that's, like I said, one option for you. You're definitely near the stadium, and it has familiarity for foreign travelers. You could definitely do worse, and like I said, it's a 10-minute walk to the stadium from there. Booking is very easy through their site. It's something I've done before. You don't have to worry about using booking or otherwise. Rooms are going to be incredibly small for the base room, and that's saying something for Japan, but looking at the pictures reminded me some of my earlier trips where you're looking at your room and your bed takes up the entire floor space. And there's not a spot for you to put your luggage. I remember having to put that luggage like in my bathroom just to have a spot, and then you're kind of moving it aside to use the restroom. The rates, though, are going to be lower than a lot of the surrounding areas. Familiarity for that, okay? So, one other thing that I would say is that with that APA is that while you're around the stadium and different things that are here, what I would say is that rooms pricing would be around like the high 200s to 400s. Depending on when you book, it can be less. During the week, it's going to be lower. On weekends and Fridays and things like that, price is definitely going to be more. How many people you're going to have is going to be more, and expect again to pay. You have kids, you're going to be paying for them as well. The hotel, though, has been around for a while. It is I'd say nicer than what you normally expect from an APA hotel. But like I said, I would have another option for you all instead. If you want the short walk, the cheaper price and familiarity, go with the APA hotel. If you're okay with a bit of a walk, or especially if you drive, I would actually recommend the JR East Hotel Mets Premier instead. Even with it being a 30-minute walk or a 7-minute drive by staying there to get to the stadium, there is a bus that could cut about 7 minutes off of that walk. But what I would really instead do is explore the TaxiGo app, other rideshare apps, talk to some of the people that are there to help you get set up. But TaxiGo your way, okay? And one thing I would say as well is that if you wait for the last minute to leave, you're going to be running into quite a few people, so that can take some time. You're going to be doing check-in at this location through a touchscreen. We'll kind of talk about that as well. And one other thing that I'd say is that for those of you that are looking to catch Japan's, one of their 10 original soccer teams, and are coming here for that, you know, be it a baseball game and enjoying the pageantry of that as well. And I really do feel, sorry for my tangent here for 1 second, is that a baseball game, if they'd been allowed to film there and it had fit in with scheduling, totally feel like a baseball game could have ended up in Lost in Translation. All of the singing, all the banner waving, all of the camaraderie, just there's music nonstop. There are chants. It is a show. You don't have to watch the baseball at all to have a wonderful time there. So, really do think about adding something like this soccer. There's basketball we've talked about in the past. There's football. There's sumo. There's so many things you can do, but really look to add something on for this. You're going to have a blast. What has me walking a bit further away from where we might normally be staying, because a lot of the other hotels, if you look at the map, are all by the Appa Hotel. Okay. This is a newer location. It's from 2024. I'll talk about that again in a moment. It is also by an Aeon Mall. There's actually a few different malls in that area. It's 2 minutes from the main walk, and it is near a new station that has opened up, and that is the Makuhari Toyosuna Station, which is just a 35 to 50-minute train ride to Tokyo Station from there. And at just 530 yen each day, pretty awesome. You don't need to Shinkansen everywhere, my friends. So pack your day trip bag if you're looking to escape Tokyo and enjoy traveling with all your luggage. Just make sure to pack an empty duffel bag for all the treasures you end up finding shopping in the area. Check-in is done through, like I said, a touchscreen on the first floor, allowing you to potentially skip having to interact with anyone. Although if you need help, staff is available. I bet for some of you, however, this can indeed be a selling point on its own, allowing you not to have to worry about having to speak to someone else or hoping that they speak English, or hoping that your cell phone has reception or the translation app is working. You can look to avoid all of that. One perk of staying here is that after 10 p.m., there is access to a sort of unmanned convenience store that you can only access by using your room card, which will allow you to grab snacks even at midnight. If you drive, it's important to know, though, that there is parking. It is not free, and that it is a 7-minute walk away. None of this is a deal breaker for me, but maybe for some. And this is a business style hotel, but it has only been open since March 2024. So it is going to be newer than a lot of the other hotels and things that are in the area. And one thing of note, especially if you upgrade your room, they can be of decent size. You can check pricing through their site. But if it's possible, one thing I've not really brought up before is that I would look to make my game be during the week and not a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, something where I could be there Wednesday, check out Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, things like that, because pricing for your hotels is so much less than if you are, checking in on a Friday, leaving on a Saturday, Sunday. I can almost be double the pricing. So catch that game during the week and have a nicer room, enjoy some more space, and thank me later. Besides a lot of shopping that is nearby, there's also option to do some go-karting in Japan on a track without having to dress up and drive in the streets of Tokyo to do so. We'll get to that activity shortly after we talk about the Aeon Mall, Makuhari Shinsonshin Active Mall first, which is actually part of an Aeon Mall. There's 4 malls that are in this area. All of them have different themes, you're going to find one that's going to fit you most likely. This active mall is mainly filled with outdoor and sporting goods stores. It even has a bicycle shop where you can actually test ride bikes before you buy them. Now, there's a children's play area. And the nice thing about this mall in particular of the four is it's off the beaten path of the others, and it does not get as busy as the new city complex. It's less crowded. Parking is an issue by the new city complex. There's way more people going there. If you don't mind a bit of like an 8-minute walk, you could park there and go explore the others from there as well. There's a few restaurants nearby, and you can have fun exploring any and all of these. But like I said, if you have some younger kiddos with you or those that may struggle with that long of a walk, there aren't any buses in between this. So that would be where a car would be clutch to get you between those different spots, or just enjoy the active mall and don't worry about what you're missing on the other ones. Next up, before we get to our talk about Zoom Zoom Stadium and bring our day trip today to an end, we'll visit Harbor Circuit Shin Go Kart Track. One thing that you may not catch is the need to purchase a face mask for 500 yen to be able to use the track, and 500 yen for your initial license that you get after watching the video of what you can and can't do. If you look to go again, though, you don't have to pay this 1,000 yen fee. You can bring your license, you can bring your face covering and use them multiple times. If anyone's watched a NASCAR race or F1 race or seen the F1 movie, you know the mask that they're talking about. Okay. One thing to take note of, however, is the facility does get rented out for events from time to time. So it's important to check the website before you go so that you're not disappointed. If you see on the website that it's been rented out, that's not the day you want to go. Please don't be like the foreigner who left a 2-star review despite saying they had a whole bunch of fun, all because they did not check the site before they left and had unused ride tickets they could not get a refund for, ended up like not being able to use before their trip ended. No one, I repeat, no one, including go-kart tracks that are out by me in the US, will reach out and call everyone on their list who has unused tickets to let them know every time there's a private event. That's why they have websites. So check it ahead of time, have a fabulous time, and leave some great reviews to make up for that and hide that 2-star review. It doesn't end up reflecting negatively upon all the rest of us. One other perk is that they have tracks for kids and they have tracks for adults. So you can allow you to enjoy yourself however your family is looking to. One thing of note is that sometimes when I've been go-karting, the wheel is tighter. It's the best way I could describe it. You kind of have to fight it for some of your turns, requiring you to have, more strength having to be put into what you're doing. A lot of reviews on this track mention that the wheels are a lot easier to turn, making it more accessible to, people that without having to worry about strength coming into some sort of issue for this. And pricing, though, it's definitely not cheap for something. It's 2,500 yen per person for anyone that is of high school age or older. There are discounts for multiple ride tickets, but again, as I mentioned before, don't let, the savings kind of overcome you. When you go, it's first come, first served, right? You have to wait in line, you do your race, and then you're back in line again. If there's not much of a line, you can hop right back in. If there is, though, you're going to have to wait. So maybe don't buy the 5-pack of, races if you're not going to be coming back. If you do that, however, hey, scrapbook material, right? So, one thing else before we kind of move on from this is that nothing on their website, nothing in reviews say they have English speaking staff. So, go in with a smile, your patience, and a translation app, and be prepared for someone to say maybe that you can't use the track. Make sure that you're wearing shoes, though, and socks. Don't wear sandals. Don't wear shoes that have holes in them, Crocs included. They recommend that you wear pants, long sleeves, just because, again, you're out on the racetrack. And just as I'd recommend for the soccer match, baseball game, and the karting for this, bring sunblock. Put it on. wear coverings, and bring some drinks to keep yourself cool and snacks to keep yourself and your energy up. It really can get a lot hotter on the track than you even realize. Finally, we have made it to the main reason I would visit, and that's Zozo Marine Stadium. If you're unable to find a service to get your tickets before you visit, that purchase tickets under your name. That is so important. It needs to be purchased under your name because when they look at that, you don't want to be turned away if it's under someone else's name. You can walk up and try to purchase tickets the day of the game, or what I would recommend is this. If I was in Tokyo and wanted to kind of escape for a little bit, and I was planning on trying to catch a baseball game at this stadium, what I would do is take the train out, and it's about an hour trip from Tokyo Station. Okay. I would go when I knew there was going to be a game. Now, for me, being the crazy person I am, I would go, and if I could get in, maybe catch two games. But for the rest of you, what I would recommend doing is getting there kind of early, going up to the ticket gate and purchase tickets for a later game. So, like you wanted to do it next week or in 2 weeks on your return back, get your tickets then, and then you have them ready to go, and you don't have to worry about it. And you can enjoy the rest of your trip and come back and catch a baseball game as well. The only team that I've ever been able to buy tickets from are the Tokyo Giants. And I've talked about this in previous shows. But as we've also mentioned, bots are making it so much harder for people, even within Japan, to get them. So really do your research and look at when they go on sale and get them far in advance. You can't get a refund for it, I do realize. But if this is even something that sounds somewhat interesting for you to do, I really don't think you could go wrong by buying these tickets ahead of time and talk to someone that could purchase them for you. If you can find that person and have them that discussion with them prior to the on sale date, so you can be part of their block of people they're trying to get tickets for. And I try to do that early myself, so maybe you're at the front of that so that they don't reach back out to you and say, hey, I was able to get some but not all. Okay. Again, you can try to purchase them yourself through the sites, but most of them require you to have a Japanese address for the tickets and a Japanese credit card, which knocks a lot of us out of being able to do this on our own. Okay. Parking for the stadium is limited. The stadium has one main exit and entrance. So again, arrive early and leave early if you don't mind sitting with a bunch of people or standing with other people or sitting to wait for things to clear out. Also, if you do go to a game there and enjoy yourself, leave a 5-star review. And don't give it a 3-star review just because you feel the stadium could have been placed in a better location, like some reviewers end up saying. So feel free to hit up the food trucks before you enter the stadium. Bring that food in with you. Go to shopping centers, grab your bento box, grab some food, grab some drinks. And unlike the soccer stadium, my friends, one thing about the stadium is that there are plenty of bathrooms for you to use. Hurrah! Okay. One last word of advice for any baseball game person looking to have some fun is to take note of the time of your game. If it's a day game, especially during summer, you don't want to splurge on those seats that are super close to the field because you're going to get cooked. And not in a good way. Okay. Look for that overhang. Look for things that are further back. It's going to save you some money and save you from being in that heat, and you're going to feel it the longer the game goes on. And with that, we are going to bring today's talk to an end. I look forward to our next day trip talk. We'll be venturing out to Japan once again and visiting, this time, a location that's going to be further away from Tokyo and not on that golden route, but could easily end up being the highlight of your trip. As I've said before, Chiba, Tokyo, and the surrounding cities that are around this really could be your entire trip to Japan. So it depends on what you want to do and what you want to get out of your trip. How much time do I have? And what's going to make you happy? Because just as friend of the show, Maurice, who is about to kick off his next Kickstarter, you heard it, next Kickstarter, often says, make that trip that is for you and not the one you saw someone else do. It is so much more than what you see on social media, and it can truly lead to some lifelong memories that end up being something that is very unique to you. And with that last statement, we're going to bring our day trip talk to an end. Please give a follow, a like, and a comment on your favorite streaming service. For updates on the show, feel free to follow on Instagram at Lost Without Japan. If you've enjoyed today's show, consider supporting us by joining our Patreon. Links for that will be in today's show notes. Thank you for our Scone Club members and for those who have already donated both now and in the past. Your support continues to help me bring the show to you like I am now, and just it means the world to me. Looks like we're ready to call it a night before we begin our next adventure, like I said. So, on behalf of Lost Without Japan and the entire crew, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip. And we're looking forward to seeing you on board again in 2 weeks for our next episode. To everyone out there, O Ginki Day, stay well, my friends.